Right, well, let's now speak to the SACP's Alex Mashilo as we get reaction to the news of the death of the Public Enterprises or former Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan. Dr. Mashilo, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Your reaction to the news as it comes out this morning, what are your first thoughts?
Firstly, let's express our message of sincere condolences to the Gordhan family, to the ANC, his organization, and the people of South Africa at large, who he has served in various capacities and fought for as part of the national liberation struggle to end oppression under apartheid and replace it with the democratic dispensation that we have today.
Yeah,
this is indeed a sad loss.
You know, from the position of the SACP, what many young South Africans may not know is that it was in 1994 when Pravin Gordhan became a member of the SACP Central Committee. What do you think his contribution really was to the discussion around the work done by the Communist Party in the Tripartite Alliance?
Yeah, before then he was actually a member of the party and he participated in important operations, military operations, as a member of the party and as part of our armed struggle processes to do away with the apartheid system. So when he was elected to the Central Committee, to serve on the Central Committee, it was after he has proved himself, after he proved himself in the activities of the organization on the ground, among others working with stalwarts like Mac Maharaj and so on. And also he did later leave the party and remained only a member of the ANC. The SACP value the contribution that he made to the cause of our liberation struggle in his capacity as a member of the party and in our armed struggle activities. Very complex and dangerous operations that he survived against the apartheid regime, which he fought to bring down. I must say, the last time I was with him was at the Union Building this year. During the inauguration of President Cyril Ramaphosa, we had a moment to chat. And the next time we had reflections about him was on Monday this week. In fact, on Monday as well as on Tuesday, because our General Secretary, Solima Paila, visited him in hospital. And when he came back from hospital, he gave me the feedback about the visitation, and it was clear that the situation was tough, but we looked forward to him emerging victorious in the battle he was fighting against the illness.
Interesting, and one would be, want to be a fly on the wall of that conversation with him at the inauguration at the Union Buildings, and if you're able to share with us that would be something, wouldn't it? But there's also the talk about, you make the point around the contribution that he made to the party that is the SACP and to the liberation struggle. There's going to be a question around the legacy that he leaves behind, right? 30 years into democracy, was he, in his leadership capacity, a man that left behind, I suppose, the fruition of the dream that was shared pre-1994?
He was very decisive, and this did not mean he did not exercise the right to differ. So he differed where it was necessary to differ, but he differed with due respect to you and the points that you raised. If I can give you an example, you know that the SACP fought a serious battle to save the South African Airways from being sold or from being closed down after it was put under business rescue. We held different views with Comrade Gordhan. We express our views sharply in the process. But one thing that he did is that he never stopped giving us an opportunity to express our views, even if he knew that our views differed with his views. That is why we still had a relationship, even after he completed his term and our General Secretary visited him in the hospital. I must say that we worked with him very closely in the battle against state capture. This was one thing that was in his agenda he was passionate about. He really fought the battle, and as you know, he was a victim of vilification by many people. He was so much attacked by different people, but he stood his ground until the end against state capture. This is one thing many of us will remember him for having done.
Yeah. What do you think the lesson is that he leaves with the institutions that he served, and certainly with the parties that he has served, the SACP as well as the ANC?
You know, there are so many things when we work together which sometimes we do not document. When we work together with you, Naledi, we look at the work, the technicality, your contribution, your professionalism. But we are human beings. In the process, we establish social relations and we learn about the social side of one another. And in this way, we are contributing not only to building relations between ourselves, but to build a nation. That is crucial. He participated in that process. And at the end of his term, we all know that the ministry that he led was de-established, and the various public enterprises will now be reporting under their various line departments as a function of the ANC resolutions, following a thorough process of reflections. I think where we stand, and this is what the SACP has been fighting for, if we can turn around our public enterprises to thrive, to grow, if we can build a public economy, we would know that we are saving a particular peoples in which he did form part. Although things were not easy, because many of these institutions were ruined by two trends. The one being neoliberal policy prescripts and the other being state capture. That's why they were plunged into financial and operational crises and governance decay.
Right. Yeah. Well, Dr. Mashilo, we really do appreciate your insights and, of course, condolences to yourself as well. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Dr. Alex Mashilo, there's the spokesperson for the South African Communist Party.